The Chicago Cubs pound the Buccos as Shota Imanaga leaves the game in the sixth inning after injuring his hamstring. We'll talk about that. And not to fear, Chicago Cubs actually do have options. What's up? What's up? What's going on, Chicago Cubs Central fam? It's your boy Mike Jones back here with another episode of Chicago Cubs Central. That's right, your number one spot for all things Chicago Cubs. And I'm here talking to you about another Chicago Cubs win. So you know what that means? That's absolutely right. You know what happens when the Chicago Cubs win? We fly that W flag. Chicago Cubs improved to 18-12 on the season. Home run ball was in play during this game. First couple of innings, it did not look like the home run ball was going to come through, like it was going to be more of a pitcher's duel between Imanaga and and Heaney. However, the Chicago Cubs bats came alive in the fourth inning when Carson Kelly homered to left center and scored Seiya Suzuki. Then in the fifth inning, Pete Crow Armstrong homered again and he scored Nico Horner. Then Tucker signaled to right in the seventh and scored Ian Happ. Seiya Suzuki comes up right behind him and homers 369 feet to center, and Tucker scores on that. Then the heavens opened up. That's right. Dansby Swanson finally got a home run to left, 341 feet. And then, of course, in the ninth inning, Carson Kelly add another RBI to his hot streak, and he scored Seiya Suzuki with that. The Chicago Cubs shut out the Pittsburgh Pirates exactly as I said they should. In yesterday's episode, I told you guys Chicago Cubs need to look forward to taking advantage of this series against the Pirates. Pirates are kind of dwindling right now. Things aren't going right. Ticket sales are horrible. Team isn't playing good. And a lot of people aren't watching. And the Chicago Cubs need to take advantage of the teams in the Central. They play two of them this week. They play the Pirates, and then they head off to Wrigleyville North and take on the Milwaukee Brewers. They need to take full advantage of both these series and beat both these teams and win both these series. So it's important that the Chicago Cubs bats come alive, stay alive, and they take advantage of this, as well as their pitchers taking advantage of it. The Chicago Cubs tomorrow will look to get their 19th win of the season when they go up against those Pirates again. Same time, 5:40 start time for the Pittsburgh Pirates. We'll have Matthew Boyd on the mound going up against Carmen Madzinski, who is 0-3 with a 6.95 ERA. And Matthew Boyd is boasting a 2-2 record with the 2.54 ERA. So hopefully the Chicago Cubs bats can stay hot, get some more home runs. We now have Seiya Suzuki with 7 home runs, Kyle Tucker with 7 home runs. We have Dansby Swanson with 5. We have Michael Busch with 6. We have Ian Happ with 7. Like I said, the Chicago Cubs bats and home run balls have come alive this season. And again, the Chicago Cubs are doing what they need to do and beating up on the competition that they put in front of them. Chicago Cubs schedule gets very much more relaxed over the next month and a half to 2 months, and the Chicago Cubs need to take advantage of that. We need to distance ourselves in this division as much as possible. And one way we can do that, and is a couple of reasons why I think the Chicago Cubs should do that. One way we can do that, obviously, is beating up on the competition that they put in front of us, especially when we play games against the Central Division, not playing down to the competition. But think about this. If the Chicago Cubs are able to get a sizable lead in the division and keep a sizable lead in the division, then who's to say that you can't call up some of these guys from AAA and give them a shot in a series or two to see what they can do? Who am I looking at? That's right. I'm looking at the Chicago Cubs calling up potentially 2 names. Now, first, I want to cover the part with Shota Imanaga. So the question of the day, Shota Imanaga went down with injury in yesterday's game. Unfortunately, they just said that it was muscle tightness, a spasm in his or a Charlie horse in his hammy. So nothing really too serious. However, Shota's kind of been running hot, running wet. So I say, why not call up Cade Horton to do to take Shota Imanaga's next start? Why do I say that? Now, a lot of you would say, well, Cade Horton didn't look that great in spring training. Cade Horton since then has been dominant down in AAA. He has really found his way. In fact, in just yesterday's game, he pitched 6 innings, recorded 3 hits, allowed 1 earned run, 1 walk, 5 strikeouts, and on 77 pitches, and he threw 50 strikes. Who's to say that Cade Horton could not come up and do something like that here in the majors? Who's to say that he could not come up and find this same success in the majors, especially if he's going to be going up against somebody like the Brewers this weekend? Call it what you want. I just think that the Chicago Cubs ought to call up Cade Horton and give him a shot in the majors. I mean, it can't hurt much, like I said, to give him a shot, call him up for a game, and see what he can do as a starter. And if it goes well, let him keep pitching. If it goes bad, send him back down to AAA. It doesn't hurt anything to at least give him one start. I think a spot start over Shota Imanaga and allowing Shota to rest and miss one game. I do not think that that's a bad thing. I do not think that that's something that would hurt the Chicago Cubs in the long term. And it also allows you to be able to see what you have in Cade Horton and see if he can really do this at the big league level. Again, this kid is a dog, and he has been doing his part for this team and killing it down in AAA Iowa Cubs. So I don't see why people would be against Cade Horton being able to come up to the majors. At some point this season, you need to call him up and see what he's got. And I think right now, when the schedule lightens, might be the easiest point to call him up and see what he has. So along with Cade Horton, I also think that the Chicago Cubs ought to look to call up Moises Ballesteros. Moises Ballesteros right now is boasting a slash line of .414, .475, and .586 in 21 games so far in AAA. Guess what, guys? As far as Cub players go, he's a better hitter right now than Dansby Swanson, Nico Horner, Vidal Brujan, Nicky Lopez, Justin Turner, John Birdie, Carson Kelly, and Miguel Amaya. Now, my thought process behind this is you can call up Moises Ballesteros, give him a shot at maybe playing either first base or DH in one day just to see what the kid has. Like I said, his home runs are ridiculous. He had a pinch hit. Hit a grand slam last Sunday. The kid's bat is ridiculous. He is going to be an amazing designated hitter. I'm getting all type of Kyle Schwarber vibes from Moises Ballesteros, and I think that the Chicago Cubs ought to look to capitalize on these hot streaks right now that Cade Horton and Moises Ballesteros are on. So again, would you guys call up Moises Ballesteros and Cade Horton and give those guys a shot at potentially playing in the majors over the weekend just to see what they could do? Would you do that, or do you think it's too early, too soon? I think while the schedule is lighter, this is the opportunity that you have to be able to do so. And I think that these two might actually thrive in the majors. I think that they would absolutely be able to help this team. Both have seemed to find their way, and both have seemed to be able to produce. And the Cubs need starting pitching. They don't necessarily need hitting, but you can never have enough hitting. So again, I think giving Shota a rest on his next start, which will probably be next Sunday, and allowing Cade Horton to come out and to pitch for the Chicago Cubs next Sunday as a starter, I think that would be box office. I think it would be must-see TV, and I think the kid would do good. I think he would do great. And again, I'm just waiting on the Chicago Cubs to call up Moises Ballesteros because I definitely think he has a lot to prove and a lot to show on the major league level. But again, folks, that's my time. Don't forget, Chicago Cubs tonight, once again, 5:40 start time, going against those same Pittsburgh Pirates. We do have Matthew Boyd on the mound for us as the Cubs look to improve to 19-12 on the season. Listen, guys, I appreciate you all so much. Remember, you can call me and leave me a voicemail at 217-816-5498, or you can write me an email at cubsbaseball1992@gmail.com. Remember, this is Chicago Cubs Central, your number one spot for all things Chicago Cubs. Until tomorrow, I appreciate each and every last one of you. Go Cubs, go. Peace.
Thank you for watching another episode of Chicago Cubs Central, the number one spot for all Chicago Cubs content. Remember to like, share, subscribe for more Cubs content.